Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about the 6th episode of the 3rd season of Sabrina, Good Will Haunting. I'm a Molly Dolly. That's me! I'm a Molly Dolly. Be brutal. Be brutal. It's kind of stale. Monster! I'm a Molly Dolly, and I'm gonna get you. This episode is obviously the 3rd season's Halloween episode, and being a huge fan of Halloween, I love any of the Sabrina Halloween episodes. But my favourite thing about this is Salem's introduction. Not Little Salem's, of course, but the actual Salem's introduction. Just the music really sets the tone for this and kind of gives it quite a strong, eerie undertone. Because a lot of the Sabrina Halloween episodes are not actually scary. They're quite mythical and magical, but they're not that scary. But this one with Salem's intro and Salem's exit, it's absolutely beautiful. And it just gives Salem that little bit more excitement. And doesn't he look absolutely gorgeous? Now the plot for this I think is quite interesting. The fact that Hilda and Zelda have to go to Aunt Beulah's, who they've never met, allows for quite a lot of excitement, because we often assume that because Hilda and Zelda have lived for, over 4 centuries, they're going to know all their relatives, and it does make you wonder how many more members of the Spellman family are there that we haven't met by season 7. Who else have we not met? There's a lot of questions raised, and it kind of leaves a lot open for Aunt Beulah and the character as well, because if nobody knows anything about her, it's really quite fascinating. And then obviously we have Harvey and Sabrina and Valerie and Justin on their double date, which really brings in the teenage element. I think I've said this in some other videos before. There are a couple of episodes of Sabrina where the balance isn't quite right, where it's either very witch or very teenage and not a lot of crossover. But this one does bring the two together quite perfectly, and I think for a Halloween episode that's kind of crucial, isn't it? So that works really well. And obviously that's timeless, the whole concept of double dates, of staying in on Halloween to watch scary films. It is timeless, and that's quite common with Sabrina, the stories being sort of timeless classics, so that's quite nice. What I loved about this is Harvey in the Frankenstein's monster. What I don't like about this is the fact that they refer to Frankenstein's monster as Frankenstein. Being a die-hard fan of Frankenstein, that did annoy me a little bit, but it's not something I'm going to get too caught up on. But Nate Richert dressed as Frankenstein's monster I thought was absolutely hilarious and brilliant. Then of course we have the big Frankenstein's monster, which was great. Also the big monster looked a lot more realistic, if that makes sense. I have this thing about the commercialization of Frankenstein's monster or creature being green. He wasn't green, not like a luminous green, so I think they got that spot on as well. Delilah. I love Delilah. Every time I watch this, I just think you are the most perfect character ever. And just a little slight anecdote here. I tweeted this morning saying Ruth Buzzi, and I think I'm pronouncing her surname right, I'm not entirely sure, as Delilah is wonderful. And she favorited it. She favorited that tweet. I was over the moon. I'll put her link to her Twitter in the below bar in case you want to go and follow her, which you should. Aunt Beulah, I think, is a great character. She's played by Joan Worley. We don't see enough of Beulah. I would have liked to have seen her more of a recurring character. I think she's quite fascinating and quite comedic and quite entertaining, I guess. She's kind of like the wacky version of Vesta. So that's quite nice. Vesta is one of the best characters ever. I think Vesta just speaks to so many people, even though they won't admit it. But Beulah is absolutely brilliant. Molly Dolly is one of the most iconic things from Sabrina. Even if people can't remember much about this episode, they will always remember, I'm a Molly Dolly. And I love that. I would love a Molly Dolly. I want a Molly Dolly. Now, I'm not entirely sure if they can be bought. I don't know if this Molly Dolly was part of a franchise of American Toys or something, or if it was designed specifically for the show, for this episode. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I have no complaints with this episode. It is quite creepy in aspects. You're not watching it thinking, oh my goodness, I'm terrified. But the whole, the insane asylum thing is really quite eerie. It gives you quite a lot of inspiration as well for your own Halloween ideas. But the cast in this is great. We have some really fascinating characters in this with a lot of character. Great personalities and a lot of comedic elements to them and kind of wacky and kooky bits to them, so that's great. I also still want to try candy corn. I still haven't had candy corn. I am devastated. I feel so deprived. But this is brilliant. Please feel free to leave comments and let me know your thoughts on Good Will Haunting. Little Salem would like to know what you have to say as well. So this cat is adorable. I absolutely love him. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!